Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the April 2nd, 2018 Informal County Commission meeting. We have 4 people to address our commission tonight. I would ask each of the folks that will be addressing the commission to, number 1, be respectful in any of your comments. Number 2, please tell us who you are and where you live. Number 3, try to limit your comments to 3 minutes. You'll hear a tone go off. I hope you'll try to wrap your comments up after that sound. If not, I'll respectfully ask you to do so. First on our list is Mr. Charles Peck. Mr. Peck, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor. Council, distinguished guests, members of the public. My name is Charles Peck. I'm the duly elected president of the Clarksville Association of Realtors. And before I get going, I'd like to take one moment, if I may.
Sure.
This weekend, yesterday, we lost a pillar of our real estate association. Brother Jimmy Settle left this world. And I ask all of you to pray and support his family. Thank you.
Thank you.
I stand before you tonight to affirm our commitment to the efforts of the Charter Commission for the Consolidated Metropolitan Government. The Clarksville Association of Realtors has voiced their support for the local metropolitan government in the past, but tonight I get the pleasure of announcing our support with more than just words. I am pleased to announce that the Clarksville Association of Realtors, with a grant funding from the National Association of Realtors, is providing $50,000 to our United Community, a committee working for the passage of the Clarksville-Montgomery County Metropolitan Government Charter Referendum this November. The Clarksville Association of Realtors, as an association of over 900 real estate professionals, stands firmly in the belief that the consolidated metropolitan government will best serve not only the homeowners of Clarksville and Montgomery County, but all citizens. These funds will serve to inform the citizens of Clarksville and Montgomery County to the benefits of consolidated government. The Clarksville Association of Realtors expects that a consolidated metropolitan government will lead eventually to a decreased property tax, an increase in economic development, and a greater representation in our state legislature. A consolidated metropolitan government will best manage our rapidly growing economy and unprecedented expansion of the real estate in our community. The Clarksville Association of Realtors does not stand on the sidelines. We are putting our money and our efforts to use for a better Clarksville and Montgomery County. I thank you for your time and especially for your service to the community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Peck. Mr. David Ross.
Commissioners, Mayor Durrett, ladies and gentlemen, I'm David Ross. I'm from Stewart County. Tourism is a regional industry. LBL is our national recreation area, and Paris Landing State Park, once the crown jewel of the Tennessee Park System, is our state anchor. I'm respectfully seeking support for resolutions unanimously passed by the Stewart County Commission and the Dover City Council. We're asking the state to delay demolishing Paris Landing State Park Inn at least until the next governor's in office. The state's allocated $26 million to demolish our existing 130-room steel reinforced concrete convention and event size inn. They're wanting it downsized to 60 rooms with no upgrades to the rest of the park. Our national fishing tournaments, events, conventions, conferences are going to go elsewhere. probably Kentucky. They may not be back as they are now. We want all options reviewed by the next governor, including a renovation of the existing inn with the entire $26 million upgrading all of Paris Landing. A 2013 business and management plan from the governor's own Department of Economic and Environment and Conservation calls for a $7.8 million renovation of the existing inn and much needed upgrades to the entire park, marina, golf course, swimming pools, playgrounds. The state's surprise demolition downsize announcement in November came with absolutely no public input, no public meetings, no hearings, absolutely no prior public discussion. The demolition plans opposed by Henry County Mayor Ben Greer and many other officials. The petitions opposing the state's plan have signatures from citizens across the region, including many from Montgomery County. State Senator Mark Green supports letting the next governor and public have input on the future of Paris Landing. All of Paris Landing needs a facelift, especially the inn. Let's use the $26 million to invest in all of Paris Landing State Park. That investment will pay economic and quality of life dividends for our entire region for decades to come. Tourism is a regional industry. Montgomery County is the vital regional hub for all of her adjoining and surrounding counties. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Ross. Mr. Barry Schmitt.
Thank you, Mayor Durrett and Commission. In March, I gave you a booklet that has quotes from officials and volunteers telling of the heartbreaking conditions with overcapacity shelters and high euthanasia rates in many counties. The booklet is now on my Facebook page titled Save Millions of Lives. The ASPCA says there are 1.5 million cats and dogs euthanized every year in the U.S. I'll add quotes from KSHB-TV, who wrote on March 2nd, Kansas City shelter is in critical mode, even though Maddie's Fund and the Petco Foundation are helping them. The booklet shows Montgomery County at cat capacity in November. The next day, Nashville shelter was nearly at capacity for dogs and over capacity for cats. Nashville's overcapacity occurred while they're receiving huge help from Mars Pet Care. Last week, Montgomery County's Humane Society wrote, the number of animals being surrendered in the Clarksville area far outweighs the resources. I've quoted many national sources calling for a culture shift to change this, but no changes are occurring. Here's one reason why. Maddie's Fund nonprofit wrote, in the animal sheltering world, it's easy to fall into old and familiar ways of doing things. That's exactly what's happening now. The main thing we hear in the media is the ancient message of everybody spay and neuter. I've never heard them say it's very important to spay and neuter because many shelters in the U.S. are over capacity. The flood of free kittens and puppies compete with the kittens and puppies the shelters try to find homes for. Christian County's AC director told me they euthanize many kittens, and I'm sure more counties do this. We need government officials to have press releases frequently with a sense of urgency to tell people the desperate need to spay and neuter. Including animal welfare in public school lessons is a great way to create a huge impact. Facebook page titled Lost and Found Pets of Clarksville, Tennessee has 15,000 members, and their volunteers do a great job of helping people find their lost dogs and cats, but some people don't know about them, and they don't know what to do when they lose or find a pet. Some lost pets never get back home, and some will be euthanized. In June, Montgomery County euthanized 212 cats and dogs with high rates in other months, even though many wonderful staff and volunteers do everything they can to help. Rescuers here use Facebook to find homes for dogs and cats, and they often write about the heartbreak they have every day. Many have told me they'll help, including Nashville Shelter Director. The summary you received today has new contacts, including Alex Walker, who is a Bloomberg Philanthropy on-site project manager in the Nashville Mayor's office. We spoke Thursday, and she's reaching out to Bloomberg and the Mayor's office. Thousands of nonprofits, volunteers, and businesses are working to help animals. The huge majority of people love animals very much. Please realize the tremendous power we'll have when we join together to get the changes we need. You'll all be heroes for using your influence to cause the changes we desperately need. I hope and pray this will happen very soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schmitt.
Thank you, Mayor Durrett.
Miss Deanna McLaughlin.
My name is Deanna McLaughlin. I live at 107 Mossland Drive. I'm here today as the Tennessee Commissioner to the Military Interstate Children's Compact. I was appointed by Governor Haslam to this volunteer post in 2011. The Military Interstate Children's Compact was formed by the Council of State Governments in cooperation with the U.S. Department of Defense and drafted the Interstate Compact to address some of the educational challenges transitioning children to military families face. Since July 2006, the Council of State Governments has worked with a variety of federal, state, and local officials, as well as national stakeholders, organizations representing educational groups, and military families to create the new interstate agreement. While the compact is not exhaustive in its coverage, it does address the key issues encountered by military families: eligibility, enrollment, placement, and graduation. In addition, the compact provides for a detailed governance structure at both the state and national levels with built-in enforcement and compliance mechanisms. The Tennessee legislature enacted the Interstate Compact by placing it in our state statutes in 2010 under TCA Code 49-12301. Currently, all 50 states and Washington, D.C. are members of the Military Interstate Children's Compact. The goal of the compact is to replace the widely varying policies affecting transitioning military students. The compact leverages consistency. It uses a comprehensive approach that provides a consistent policy in every school district and in every state. The compact addresses key educational transition issues encountered by military families, including enrollment, placement, attendance, eligibility, and graduation. Children of active duty military members of the Uniformed Services, National Guard, and Reserves on active duty orders, and commissioned officers of NOAA and United States Public Health Services, and members or veterans who are medically discharged or retired for 1 year are eligible for assistance under the compact. Our mission through the Interstate Compact Mix 3, which is our acronym, as most military organizations have an acronym, key educational transition issues encountered by children in military families. Our values are doing the right thing for children, resolving issues fairly, respect for all, transparency in all we do, and we're committed to making a difference. And our vision is successful educational transfers. This is a spreadsheet, and you have this in your Dropbox, that shows the population of military children by school system in the state of Tennessee. And the reason I'm here tonight is because the majority of the military children in the state of Tennessee reside in Montgomery County and attend Montgomery County schools. And Mr. Millard House is here tonight. He serves on my state council because he is the director of schools of the most impacted school system for military children in the state of Tennessee. So why I'm speaking to you this month is April is the month of the military child. It's the month that we focus on the little heroes behind our military service members, the ones that deal with frequent deployments, frequent transfers of school, and we're focusing on them this month. This is an awareness month. It was established to underscore the important role children play in the armed forces community. There are approximately 2 million military children ranging in ages from newborn to 18 years old, and 1.3 million military children are school-aged. Care of military children sustains our fighting force and strengthens the health, security, and safety of our nation's families and communities. Purple is the color that symbolizes all branches of the military, as it is a combination of Army green, Marine red, and Coast Guard, Air Force, and Navy blue. Wearing purple is a visible way to show thanks for our military youth for their sacrifice and strength. Thank you for your time. I'll pass it over to Mayor Durrett.
Thank you. We have some of our military children here today, and I would invite anyone else in the audience that may have a child if they'd like to come up. You don't have to be nervous. I won't bite you. Okay. I have a proclamation I'd like to read. And first of all, let me say to Ms. McLaughlin, thank you for your continuing efforts and what you do to support our military and especially to support these children. Whereas April is designated as the month of the military child, stressing the important role military children play in the military community. And whereas the month of the military child is part of the legacy left by former Defense Secretary Caspar Weinberger, who established the Defense Department commemoration in 1986. Whereas the Department of Defense education activity partners with the Department of Defense and the military community in celebrating April as the month of military child. In communities around the world, essential strategic necessities are to establish an educational system that progressively builds the college and career readiness for all DODA students, establishes the organizational capacity to operate more efficiently and effectively as a model unified school system, and to challenge each student to maximize his or her potential to excel academically, socially, emotionally, and physically for life, college and career readiness. And whereas throughout the month of April, the DODA will encourage schools to plan special events to honor military children and have administrators and principals incorporate the themes of this month into their everyday duties and responsibility. These efforts and special events will stress the importance of providing children with quality services and support to help them succeed in the mobile military lifestyle. Now, therefore, I, Jim Durrett, Mayor of Montgomery County, and on behalf of the citizens of this great community, do hereby proclaim April 2018 as Month of the Military Child, and recognize the military families and their children for their daily sacrifices they make and the challenges they overcome. So to each of you, thank you. I also have a military coin, one of our coins I'd like to give you. And so we shake hands and I flip it over like that. There you go. There you go. Mr. House, would you like to say anything?
We're just very appreciative of the recognition, and we know it's not an easy task, especially for our parents, but especially for our students on a consistent basis. They get it done. They get it done at a high level. So thank you for the recognition.
Your parents are heroes, but so are y'all. Come on, let's get our picture names. You want to get our picture names? Deanna? Y'all are welcome to come around if you want to. Got some more coming. You're welcome. Thank you. All right, we're going to move right into our agenda items. We're going to have our zoning. We have 4 cases tonight. Mr. Tyndall, I understand you're going to the show, so we're glad to have you here, and we're very fortunate to have you as part of the Clarksville Montgomery County team. So we're going to start off with CZ6 2018, application of Jeffrey Morrison from C2 to R1.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Commissioners. Time to do this, you know. So I apologize if I misspeak tonight. Just bear with me. It was good to see the entire process for the last month, see how it works, and see how the staff gets this done. And here I am tonight to present this to you. Our first case tonight is CZ6 2018, application of Jeffrey Morrison from C2 to R1. The request is because the daughter wants to build a house on the property. It was zoned commercial by the county originally. It's at the corner of River Road and Morrison Court. It's 2.07 acres plus or minus. It has 2 parcels and it has a moderate to steep slope. On page 2 of your package, you can see the department comments that were received. Nothing stands out. This application is on septic. It is consistent with the growth plan. There are no adverse environmental issues, and it is appropriate and consistent with the surrounding single-family residences.
Any questions of Mr. Tyndall?
Oh, I'm sorry, I guess I should say staff recommended approval and the RPC also recommended approval on this.
Thank you, sir. At this time, we'll go into public hearing. Hear any comments related to CZ6 2018? Our rules still apply as the folks that address the commission. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes and be respectful in your comments. Is there anyone on behalf that would like to speak on behalf of CZ6 2018? Anyone to speak on behalf? Anyone to speak in opposition to CZ6 2018? We're now closing the public hearing on CZ6 2018. CZ7 2018 application of Florum USA, Inc. from AG to M2. Mr. Tyndall.
Thank you, Mayor. This application is for Florum USA. It is an extension of their existing site out there on Guthrie Highway. It is 28.41 acres, currently zoned ag and wishing to go to M2. There you can see their along International Boulevard is their existing plant, and this will be a warehouse extension of approximately 420,000 square feet to the rear of that property to allow for storage and expansion of their industry. On page 2, you can see, page 8 is the department comments received. It's in the Rossview planning area. It's consistent with the growth plan. It's also consistent with the industrial growth that is going on in this region on Guthrie Highway and International Boulevard. Staff recommends approval, and the Planning Commission also recommends approval.
Any questions of Mr. Tyndall on CZ7 2018?
I'm sorry, let me show you through some of the site pictures there. There's not too much to look at. It's a agricultural field to the rear of the storage area, looking west.
Any questions of Mr. Tyndall? All right, at this time, we'll go into public hearing to hear comments related to CZ7 2018. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on behalf of this application? Anyone to speak on behalf? Anyone to speak in opposition to CZ7 2018? Anyone to speak in opposition? We'll now close the public hearing on CZ7 2018. Mr. Tyndall, CZ8 2018, application of Gary Harmon Ben Stanley from RM1 to R4.
All right, thank you, Mayor. This application is for 0.63 acres. Is it adjacent to a 10.77 acre tract that is currently zoned R4 to the west there. It's just outside the city limits. It's a heavily wooded area. The 2 lots are 2 former mobile home sites, and it is wooded. On page 14, you can see the department comments received. The school board had some concerns of capacity issues. This is an extension of the R4 zone that is to the west. They own all 3 of these parcels, the applicant does, and would just be adding it to the larger R4 portion there for future potential development. There were no plans as of this moment. It is consistent with the growth plan and the land use plan. And again, it is an extension of the R4 zoning to the west. It is in the Lafayette planning area, and the staff recommended approval, and the Planning Commission also recommended approval.
Any questions of Mr. Tyndall for CZ 8, 2018? At this time, we'll go into public hearing to hear comments related to CZ 8, 2018. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on behalf of this application? Yes, sir. Please come forward and give us your name and address, and try to limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Hello, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Gary Harmon. I'm 620 Newcastle Road here in Clarksville. I am the owner of the property. The only thing I would add to what he pointed out is the 2 parcels, we do own the 10.77 acres, and that 0.6 acres consists of those 2. That is part of that 10.77, so it's all zoned R4 with the exception of the 2 mobile home lots. They are landlocked. You can only get to that property by a driveway that used to go through our property, so there's no way to access it right now through that. So mainly I was just here to answer any questions you may have, any concerns that any citizens may have had, and like I said, anything we can do to, to point out or answer any questions, I'd be happy to do so.
Thank you, Mr. Harmon. Any questions for Mr. Harmon? Thank you, sir. Does anyone else in the audience speak on behalf of CZ 8, 2018? Anyone to speak in opposition to CZ 8, 2018? Anyone to speak in opposition? All right, we'll close the public hearing on CZ 8, 2018. CZ 9, 2018 is the application of Donnie and Debbie Plaster from AG to R1A.
Thank you, Mayor. This application is on Trough Springs Road, just over I-24. It's in the Sango planning area. The desire here is to build a house on the property, to subdivide it and build a house on one of the newer parcels that will be subdivided from, to build a house for his handicapped wife. Parcel frontage is on Trough Springs Road. It's approximately 2.49 acres. It is an existing residential lot with a slight slope to the rear of the property. There's the vacant side of the property, the existing home that's on the property. There's an large ag property to the rear. We have received several calls on this application requesting about future potential access to the ag zone property to the south. We reminded folks that regardless of what the zoning was, that the access could go through any zone, whether it was R1 or industrial or commercial or anything. You can put a road through your property at any point if you get the access from the County Road Department. Proposed zoning is consistent with the growth plan and the land use plan. There are no other issues. The staff recommends approval and the Planning Commission recommends approval.
Any questions of Mr. Tyndall? I have a question. You showed an existing house on the lot?
Yes, this lot is currently zoned ag. And there it is right there, up close.
So they're going to build another house on it, basically?
They're going to subdivide it.
Okay,
yes,
okay,
and build
okay.
next to it.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions of Mr. Tyndall? All right, at this time, we'll go into public hearing for CZ 9, 2018. Anyone in the audience to speak on behalf of this application? Yes, sir, please come forward.
I want to thank the commission for allowing me up here to speak. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
The house next door that you speak of.
Well, would you mind giving us your name, please, sir?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Don Plaster. I live on 3212 Trough Springs Road. That's the house we see on the right. The house is not handicap proof. It's 2 levels, as you can tell probably. and I have to put my wife in the car to bring her around to the front of the house to go to bed at night. She's handicapped now. It happened about a year ago gradually. She has a liver disease, which is eating her muscles away, and she had a mini stroke, which her speech and what have you is off, and her balance is completely off. She couldn't walk from here to there without me holding her hand. She has to be in a wheelchair. Well, obviously the house, the bathrooms, I have a problem getting her in the bathroom with the wheelchair. I go to the bathroom, but I got to take her out and walk her in like this here, and to, you know, bathe her and take care of her. And same way upstairs, you know, same way up there. What I want to do is, what my intentions is, so you'll understand clearly, is that I want to build a one-level house that's handicap-proof. The doors are bigger, the showers would be a lot larger, obviously, and so forth, so I can take care of my wife. I did not want my wife to go to a nursing home. I'm going to take care of her. But anyway, so that's what I want to do. The house that I live in now, I'll probably sell it because to make up for the money I got to spend to build the house. Okay. So that's my plan. I appreciate y'all taking all into consideration, and I appreciate you letting me speak.
Yes, sir. Any questions of Mr. Plaster? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience to speak on behalf of CZ9 2018? Anyone to speak in opposition to CZ9 2018? Anyone to speak in opposition? We'll now close the public hearing on CZ9 2018. Mr. Plaster, I think I can speak for the entire commission. We appreciate your efforts of taking care of your wife. Thank you, sir. Mr. Tyndall, anything else?
Nothing else to add, sir.
All right, you did an awesome job tonight. We're very impressed.
I need better
Thank you,
cliff
sir.
notes next time. Thank you.
We will now go into our resolutions. Our first resolution is 1841, resolution authorizing the application for a grant from the local Parks and Recreation Fund by the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation for the Rotary Park Nature Center. I don't know, Nick, Jerry, you going to handle this? Any questions on 1841? This is a grant that we're applying for. If we get it, there's matching dollars that come through, but it's a $500,000 grant. Jerry, is that correct? Any questions? All right. Our next item is 1842, resolution declaring the intent of the Montgomery County to reimburse itself for certain expenditures relating to the completion of Civitan Park Phase 2 at 650 Bellamy Lane with the proceeds of bonds or other debt obligation to be issued by Montgomery County, Tennessee in an approximate amount of $2,200,000. And I guess 1843 is basically related to that. So I'll read it real quick just to read the caption. Resolution authorizing the issuance of interfund capital outlay notes in the aggregate principal amount not to exceed $2,200,000 of Montgomery County, Tennessee, making provisions for the issuance, sale, and payment of said notes, establishing the terms thereof, and the disposition of proceeds therefrom, providing for the levy of taxes for the payment of principal of and interest on the notes, and providing for reimbursement from tax-exempt obligations. Basically, what both of those are saying, Mr. Taylor, you correct me if I'm wrong, is we're going to loan ourselves some money and we're going to pay it back when we issue our bond, correct?
That would be correct, sir.
Any questions regarding 1842 or 1843? Any questions? All right, seeing none, we'll go to resolution 1844. A resolution to appropriate funds to engage a consultant and engineering firm for the purpose of designing firearm range to be located at the Public Safety Training Complex. I know the sheriff's here. Come on up, Sheriff.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. What this is to start a process of building a firearms range out of the property that we bought last summer. $50,000 of that would be for the consultant, and the remaining would be to engage an engineer to develop a design build. I know that the conversations that we've had with the mayor, he's up to speed on what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish with what type of range, what type of facility. We're just ready to begin that phase of building out the training complex that we received from this body back last summer. So I'll be glad to answer any questions about any of that. I know that there was some discussion that we had with the mayor about doing the same thing that you just did with the last two resolutions, which would be to repay the general fund from bond issues. And the mayor, you may want to speak to that. I see Jeff over there nodding his head. I know that was part of a discussion that we had. If that's changed, then I may have misspoke. So any questions about any?
Any questions of the sheriff? All right. Resolution 1845, resolution to appropriate funds to purchase an identification card system for use at the sheriff's office and the court center.
This is a new ID card system. We have one currently at the sheriff's office that does not have capabilities that we'll need for the future. It will allow us to create a more professional, a more better looking ID card for our employees. It also has features on it that will allow us to integrate barcodes, QR codes, things like that for security access points in our building and in other structures that are under my responsibility. Also across the street at the courthouse, we have now access, or I'm responsible for the access control of that building as well. This ID system will allow me to duplicate identification cards for folks that we give the authority to bypass security over there. So that's the purpose of this resolution, is to purchase this equipment. I was planning on waiting to present that for our budgets next year, but given the upgrades at the courthouse next door and the potential for having to issue an ID card for folks to enter that building, I felt that it would be prudent to go ahead and ask for that right now to get that started. So any questions on that one?
Any questions on 1845? Thanks, Sheriff.
Thank you, Mayor.
Resolution 1846 has been pulled from the agenda. Any old business? Our reports from our committees, I assume we're going to do those at formal session? Or Mr. Sokol, would you rather wait till formal session? You come ready all the time, I know, but it's up to you.
I was not at the last airport.
Oh, okay.
I'm not on that committee.
Oh, that's right. Who's taking your spot? Nominated who? Jason Hodges? Well, I would just ask this at our formal meeting. Would y'all get together and somebody give us a report? All right. Nominating committee. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Nichols.
Thank you, Mayor. Commissioners, we had one committee meeting with the nominating committee this evening. It's actually the Board of Equalization. It's a 2-year term. We had Robert Fort, Gary Ellis, and Chris Barnett. All three have been nominated to serve a second 2-year term to expire April 2020. And the city appointees are Gary Harmon and Doug Jackson. That's the report from the committee, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Nichols. Under county mayor appointments, both of these will require confirmation by the county commission. Under our Public Records Commission, Judge Jill Ayers appointed to replace Judge Ken Goebel for a 4-year term to expire April 2022. Ellen Canervo, a genealogist, appointed for another 4-year term to expire April 2022, and Commissioner Joe Creek appointed to replace Commissioner Ron Sokol for a 4-year term to expire April 2022. And our Senior Citizens Board, Mr. John J. Sack has been filling an unexpired term and is now appointed to his first full 3-year term to expire April 2021. and Betty Scoggins is appointed to another 3-year term to expire April 2021. Commissioners, you'll see the reports that are filed. I'm sure we'll have some others prior to our formal meeting next Monday night. Under our announcements, you're invited to attend the ribbon cutting ceremony and tour of the downtown commons with refreshments on Wednesday, April 18th from 4:30 to 6 p.m. at the downtown commons, and you're also invited to the business after hours and Warrior Week reception on Thursday, April 19th from 5 to 7 p.m. at the downtown commons. And parking is available on 4th and Main in the Austin P lots and all city metered spaces, as well as the parking garage. So any other announcements or items of interest before the commission? All right, we stand adjourned. Thank y'all.